Hello, I'm Devin Avery and welcome to the Inclusion of Special Populations Training 703 KAR 5:070. This is Module 5 of 8 that make up this training series. Slide 2 shows the 5 parts that this training represents. At this time, we will take a closer look at each area and describe the intentions and specifics of each. We are in Part 5, Conditions for Specific Accommodations. We are going to dive into conditions for specific accommodations on state tests and the rules that govern what can and cannot be done when providing those accommodations as laid out by the Inclusion of Special Populations Regulation. On the screen are the most used, but not only, accommodations allowed on state testing. We will go into each one individually. Assistive technology is allowed and encouraged on state testing. However, it is imperative that you make sure any assistive technology used is compatible with the test being given. Any assistive technology that reproduces, retransmits, saves, replicates, or serves as a pass-through for secure test materials cannot be used due to testing security concerns. However, many assistive technology options exist for state testing. Some things to consider for use of technology. Program planners should always evaluate under what conditions a student will use technology and clearly describe that in the student's plan. For example, if a student uses a text reader instead of a human reader, that should be clearly indicated on the student's plan. When assistive technology is not appropriate, accommodations used will be based on student need and ability level as designated in the IEP or 504 plan. Technology should be considered first in order to help foster independence. The goal is for independence to carry over into post-school activities. A teacher cannot move on with the student into post-education life. Technology can go everywhere that student goes after they leave the school. Manipulatives are allowed on state-required content assessments, but are required to be a one-to-one testing environment due to the individualized aspect of the accommodation. The rules for manipulatives as laid out by the Inclusions Regulation are as followed. The card shall not contain any written text or labels for students not taking alternate assessment. This can serve to help organize the student's thoughts. Students with visual impairments may enlarge the 3x5 card to make the card usable. Manipulative placement during assessment should be consistent with where the placement is during instruction. The student has to choose which one they want and when they want to use it. Alternate assessment students can have writing and labels on their note card as long as it is not content. Once developed, visually impaired students can have their 3x5 note card increased to a size they can read. Students should have access to every manipulative included on their student plan, whether it will be used or not. For example, if a student has 20 manipulatives written down on their IEP, all 20 should be provided to the student on test day, and not only the ones the accommodator feels will be most useful for the content. Now let's take a look at the 3x5 note card examples on the next slide. Each student with the manipulatives accommodation is allowed a single 3x5 note card. You will notice that the general 3x5 note card can have shapes or diagrams, but cannot have writing or labels of any kind. A student taking the alternate assessment can have labels, such as first, second, or third on their note card, but cannot have content. So while first, second, and third are okay, it would not be okay to have first, write a thesis statement, second, order the body paragraphs to tackle evidence for the claims, third, write a conclusion to tie the thesis to the evidence. This concludes Module 5, Technology and Manipulatives. If you have any questions about anything discussed, please feel free to contact our office by emailing dacinfo@education.ky.gov or by calling 502-564-4394.